Sweden versus Canada from the Globe Arena in Stockholm. International ice hockey between two of the best nations playing the game today. This is Gary Moran, and with me, GB national team coach Alex Dampier in the commentary booth. In the stands, a sellout near 14,000 strong crowd. Like the recent game which saw Sweden beat America, today's visitors have come to the spectacular Globe Arena with a small squad. They're awaiting other players as the domestic playoffs progress back home. The Canadians have a collection of young players in the squad then, but they've also brought NHL experience with them. So we should be in for a cracker. Watch out for Joe Sakic, a proven goal scorer, while the Swedes will look to veterans Håkan Loob and Mats Naslund for their leadership. Alex, a good game in prospect.
Yeah, I think it will be, Gary. Both teams are supporting professional hockey players from the NHL. A lot of high-class players, and it should be some very good quality play here today.
Billington in goal for Canada. Peter Lindmark gets the nod for the Swedes, and netminding, as we always say in international hockey, could be the key.
Well, you've got to have a good goaltender if you're going to survive in these kind of tournaments, and it only takes one or two bad goals and you're in trouble. So I think both teams really look for their goaltenders to do a job for them tonight.
The Swedes hurting through a couple of injuries. We'll talk about those in a moment, but the referee, Jiri Lipper, gets the match underway. He's from Czechoslovakia, and it's the Canadians who win the draw but then lose possession. And this is Lidström, number 4 for Sweden, in his own zone, trying to get things going. Håkan Loob plays it round the back of the goal and then goes screaming down the left wing looking for a return pass. There it comes. Takes it round the back. Comes round the front himself, tries the back. Ooh, backhand shot from Loob. Nearly beat Billington. And I don't really think he knew the back pad had saved that one, Alex.
No, there's Håkan Loob, 32 years old, and already he's had a scoring chance and looking to be a threat.
Brings it in sweetly, has a look up. No one in front to pass to, so he goes there himself. But to be fair to Tommy Rundqvist, number 9, he got a couple of defensemen tied up as well to give Loob the chance to come round the front. Early start for Billington. And he gets an early piece of the action. Gustafsson wins the draw for Sweden. Stillman plays it into the corner. Stromvall gets it out front, and Berglund's shot is carried away. Rundqvist tries a long one, and Billington covers up.
Well, he's had some key saves right away, Gary. It's you talk about goaltending, how important it is, and you could have been looking at a 2-0 scoreline right off the bat.
Well, the Swedes getting the early pressure on. Stillman takes the left point. It'll be Gustafsson trying to win the draw for Team Sweden. He does win the draw. Doesn't come to Stillman, though. It's Ken Holt. He winds up for a shot, doesn't get it away. When it finally goes in, Billington saves quite comfortably. Wasver starts to bring it out for the Canadians, drops it off, goes forward. This is him again. Has a look, can't see anything in the crease area, fires the puck across, but no one can latch onto it. Now the Swedes come forward. This is Mats Naslund. Across to Stillman. Stillman's shot half blocked, does enough to get it off target. Two-way play already.
Well, the Swedes are looking like they're controlling just now, but I think the Canadian team will come good eventually. They're looking like they're just starting to get to know each other a little bit, so a lot of time left. I don't sound too pro-Canadian, do I, Gary?
Just a little bit, yeah. Just like in other games we've covered, you were a little bit pro-Finland because of your family tree and your roots. I will forgive you a little bit of pro-Canadian comment tonight. Here come the Swedes. This is a good break by them, coming all the way from centre ice, and they've got all their bodies forward, but the Canadians back-checking well and then dumping it forward. I think we'll see quite a bit of dump and chase in this one.
I would think so, yeah, until both teams settle down anyway. Right now they'll play it safe and try to keep the puck deep in the zone.
Well, the Swedes trying to hustle the Canadians out of it. Dave Latta, Lafreniere go deep. Todd Bross gets it back to them, goes to look for a return in the corner, but he'd circled away. And the Swedes get the chance to clear through Samuelsson. Now Tommy Samuelsson. And Carlson's pass has got Eriksson away. He's come through short side, and it's in the back of the net.
Bit of a weak goal, that, Gary, really. The goaltender didn't stand his ground on the post. I think if he'd stood his ground, he wouldn't have had the problem.
Well, Patrick Eriksson took the chance well, but as you say, I think the goalkeeper drifts away from the near side, and I think defenseman Brian Tott could have done more as well.
Well, there shouldn't have been a goal-scoring chance at all. If the goalie had stood his ground, that would have been a very harmless play.
2:23 gone. Patrick Eriksson, the scorer. That nice rink-wide pass from Anders Karlsson earns him a point for an assist. 1-0 to Sweden then, 2:23 gone. And, well, it's been two-way play, but the Swedes perhaps had the edge of those early shifts, and they deserve that one-goal lead. Here they come again. Victorson will have a face-off just to the side of Billington in the Canadian net, drafted by New Jersey with some NHL experience. And, well, he's going to know he's been in the game already.
Well, the Canadians will have to pick up the pace, Gary. It looks all Sweden right now.
Well, this used to be Sweden's second line. It's now their fourth line, relegated with the inclusion of some NHL players like Pelle Eklund. This is the Victorson line, and Berglund always in the thick of the action. Key player in the recent Sweden hockey games, an international tournament in which Sweden finished in second place behind the Russians. And Billington in the thick of the action in this one throughout.
Well, you know, you criticize him for the first goal, but he's made a lot of key saves already, and, you know, obviously he's going to be an important part of this Canadian team tonight if they're going to try to stay in this game.
Could have a lot of work cut out. The Canadians apparently going with just two defensive lines, we were told before the game. Coach Dave King has got other guys coming in to his squad, but they're not available just yet, so two defensive lines. They're going to get tired, and they'll be looking for help from keeper Billington. Here come the Swedes with Rundqvist.
I expect a little bit more hitting already, Gary, but we haven't seen any real body contact. The Canadians don't seem to be following through their checks, and I think they're going to have to start doing that if they want to slow the Swedes up.
Well, Rundqvist wins that draw in his own zone, and Sweden get the chance to clear and ease some of the pressure on Peter Lindmark. Rolf Riddervoll on the bench this time. One of our favourite players. A chance there for Rundqvist. Billington covers up, and the Czechoslovakian referee takes his time blowing the whistle. I think he was giving him a chance to try and play it to a teammate.
Well, I don't think he was going to get rid of that thing. He was going to hang on to the puck and get a face-off. They don't seem to be very well coordinated right now, but they haven't really played a lot of hockey together, so hopefully they'll get a little better as time goes on.
Good play by Bergqvist behind the net to feed Rundqvist in front. And Hakan Lub's there, hoping to get a piece of the action from this face-off. Rundqvist to take the draw. And Bergqvist playing left wing at the moment. It comes back, but Lube has to stretch, and it goes over the plexiglass.
Well, there certainly won't be any spectators on the Canadian team tonight, Gary. Like you're saying, they've got such a limited squad, and it could be a long night for some of them.
And there's Dave King. He's got a job to do if they're going to pull this one out. As you say, they've got a small squad, but they've got guys with NHL experience. Joe Sakic, number 19, 48 goals and 108 points in the season just finished in the NHL. So they've got proven goal scorers, and there's Ken Holt trying to score one for the other team, for Sweden. Murray Craven brings it forward for the Canadians. Poivert plays it across to defenseman Schlegel. Hines just hacks it forward, and Rundqvist picks it off and brings it down for Sweden. Turns it across, they can't keep it in. Honest linesman, it never crossed the blue line.
You kind of wonder how tired some of these guys are going to be. They just come over from the NHL. They just finished a very long season and a hard schedule. Some of them got to be tired. I can't see them not being minded. I guess they get pumped up when they're playing for their country.
Well, that's Gordy Hines. He was Boston's fifth shot in the draft of 1985. And he's going to get, as you say, Alex, a lot of ice time in this one for the Canadians. Dave Rierson takes it in for the Canadians, but his teammate strayed across that blue line.
It's probably the best thing for the Canadians right now. Just get to play a little disjointed, slow things up, and hopefully they can get their act together in the next little while. The Swedes look very polished, really, Gary. They look like they're moving the puck well, and they're working well as a team.
Well, Ryerson trying to help his forwards there, but they got caught out and the Swedes win the draw. So they get the chance to go forward. Stromvall dumps it in. Brian Tott, perhaps at fault on that first goal. Brings it across. Off the boards. But it goes too far, but now it's picked off. Nice play by Gustafsson to deny Todd Struby. Well, the Canadians get another chance to hustle it forward. A bit of a mistake by Samuelsson. He needs help from Gustafsson. He's lost his stick. And Struby comes up with it. Played in front by a Swedish player. Fortunately for them. Another Swede, Mats Naslund, brings it forward. Good skills. Chips one forward and has to go and get it himself.
He's certainly a local favorite, Gary. Every time he touches the puck, it's a big ooh from the crowd, and there's a lot of them here.
Call for penalties when anyone goes near him as well. Anders Carlson gets it forward this time. Nice save, backhand shot, and another save.
Well, he's been busy enough already.
Well, Stefan Roy lost out. And Naslund couldn't turn it in on the rebound. Good action though, and it's woken the crowd up. To be precise, 13,850 in here today. We all know who they want to see win.
They're not quite as noisy as I thought, Gary. I thought they'd be have quite an effect on the Swedish team.
Well, they don't want to upset you, Damp, so they know you're here and they know who you'd like to see win. Here come the Canadians. Attempt to slide it through the crease, nearly came off, but Lidstrom got a piece of it. Stefan Roy, good goal. Lidmark left the door open there, I fear. Ryerson set him up, and Stefan Roy, number 21 of the Canadians, shows his number to the referee just to make sure he gets on the stat sheet. 1-1, 6:16 gone.
Boy, he sure beat him clean there. I wouldn't have thought this level of guy would be able to blow one by him from that range, but he certainly did.
Well, Peter Lidmark left the near side a little bit open, and the big lobster pot glove wasn't enough to cover it. And now the Canadians have won the draw as well, and they've got possession again. Davy Latter shuffles it forward. Baswer goes deep for it. Stillman off the boards into the corner. Berglund. And Stillman getting in a bit of a tangle. Good pressure from Davy Latter and Baswer.
Well, the Canadians look like they're getting into it a bit better here, Gary. They're skating a bit harder, and they're getting a bit more physical in the corners, which is something they'll have to do against the Swedes.
Well, Joe Sakic trying to get something going there for the Canadians. And they're forechecking well at the moment.
Well, I think the key against any of these fast-skating European teams, you've got to be a bit physical with them. You've got to make sure you take the body all the time.
And Davy Latter tried to find Joe Sakic there and fluffed the pass. And Hakanloob helped Samuelsson get it forward. They're offside, but they clear the zone and go back in onside. Here comes Brost. Winds up with a big shot. This time Lidmark covers up with the glove and saves. Bit of a discussion behind him. Nothing going to come on that. So we're approaching the halfway mark. This is Brost with the big shot. Lidmark saves. And in this international challenge match, the scoreboard remains the same. Sweden 1, Canada 1. He gets the pass to Samuelsson, Kjell Samuelsson. One of the biggest guys on the ice. And he walks on the horizon. I think the sun goes in sometimes. Swedes lose out there, and the Canadians bring it forward. Dave Latta. Ross can't get a pass to anyone. And Hakanlu gets the chance to bring it forward for Sweden.
I think they'll have to be careful here, Gary. The referee's been quite lenient so far on some of the holding penalties, so that'll only go on so long. The crowd will call one soon.
Stromvall loses out for Sweden on the boards, and the Canadians get it forward. The Swedes come straight back at them. Naslund goes to the crease. No pass comes through, though, from Stromvall. Now it's there with Stromvall himself behind. Turns it behind the net, and again. Good play, working together well. Keeping possession on, keeping the puck at the right end of the ice for the Swedes. Gets round now, he's got a scoring chance. And he buries it.
You know, they work that system well down low, Gary. They keep that rotation going down behind the net, and they eventually just drew some of the Canadians out of position, and he just walked out in front of the net and had a clean shot on goal.
9:32 gone. Gustafsson joins in the action. With Gustafsson going behind the goal line. Comes out in front. They'd worked it for quite a while, hadn't they, to try and get a good scoring opportunity, and one came their way at 9:32.
Yeah, you've really got to take the man when you're playing like this. You know, the guy with the puck has always got to be hit, and you've got to hold on to him. You can't just let him walk around like that.
Well, Dave Archibald left Stromvall all on his own. And that puts Sweden in front. 2-1. Gustafsson draws an assist. And it's no more than they deserve, really. Carlson goes deep for Sweden. Joe Sakic brings it forward. But Wasver loses out. This is Stillman for Sweden. Plays it across to Johnson. Nice pass forward onto Peli Eklund's stick.
Well, that looked like a two-line pass, Gary. I thought I'd seen a couple tonight.
Yeah, but he's playing for Sweden and you're on Canada's side. I thought his skate was still on the red line.
You wear glasses, I don't.
Touche. Ryerson plays it back to Toth. Ryerson again. On the long shot. Might as well put it on target. Peter Lidmark, been to the Rolf Riddervold School of Netminding. But he's got his team forward. Kjell Samuelsson. Deep in the corner. Sakic and Schegel trying to tie them up. Samuelsson gets another chance, gets it forward. Maybe a tip onto the target, but not quite. From Berglund. And the Canadians bring it forward.
Everybody's had a little shot at Samuelsson here. He's been catching a bit of lumber.
Well, they've got to do something to stop him when he gets motoring, haven't they? There's a lot of weight there.
Yeah, he doesn't really retaliate all that much.
I wouldn't want to oppose him if he finally loses it, though. Here's Johansson. Skating in and gets a pass across the crease. The Canadians will have to watch that. They can't let them come in freewheeling like that. Dave Archibald around the boards. Lidmark gets it.
That's more of a typical play, Gary. They're dumping around the boards, more North American style. They haven't been doing it. They've been losing a lot of possession in the neutral zone and right on the offensive blue line. So I think they got to get the puck deep.
Hakanlu, pretty skills to start with, but then he tried one too many moves. Archibald doesn't drop it off this time, but his teammates get the chance to mop up. Gord Hines. Forward to Wah. Randy Smith tried to take it out mid-air, but can't get onto it. Ryerson to Boisvert. Now it's picked off by Gustafsson. Bentaki Gustafsson shuffles it forward to Lube. Goes for the return. Smothered out of it by Joe Sakic. Goes behind for a good hit. Tott takes his man down. No penalty call. The referee's arms stay by his side. Canada get it into neutral ice, but Naslund brings it back again.
This has been a very good line for them, Gary. They're a lot of experience. They're really dominating the play when they're out there.
Gustafsson, Naslund and Tommy Johnson. Leads to a shot and a rebound and a shot over the net. As you say, lots of experience on the ice at the moment for Sweden.
Yeah, they've all played pro, and although they've got a few years under their belt, they're still excellent athletes, and they certainly know the game.
Changing a bit on the fly now. Lidstrom's out there, good save from Billington. Stromval goes into the corner. Sakic brings it out for Canada. Stick handles round two and then fires it rink wide in neutral ice. And we get a whistle as the puck's frozen on the boards.
Well, the Swedes are still dominating. I think the Canadians are really going to have a rethink on what's going on here. I think they've got to just take a little bit more physical approach to the game.
This is that move involving those veterans. It was off the post, in fact. I thought Billington got a piece of it. Thought it clipped off the bottom of his skate, but it actually clipped off the foot of the post from that man, Hakanlube. Carlson against Lafreniere at the draw, and it's the Swede that comes up with it. Patrick Eriksson plays it back to his defence. Stillman gives an option to Carlson, but it goes all the way. Deflected, so there's no icing call. Big shot from Kenholt. Dave Latta. Kenholt's taken out by Brost. That was Brian Tott trying to make amends for his earlier mistake, the big defenseman. And then it's gloved on the shot from the short angle. A bit of argy-bargy. Dave Latta. From your hometown, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Thunder Bay. He's had a pretty good pro career. I'm sure right now he wish he was playing golf in Florida or something.
He was Quebec's first choice in the draft of '85, and just the one game with them in the season just finished, Dave Latta, but a feisty little hockey player.
Yeah, he's a good hockey player. He's had some ups and downs, and he's had a few injuries, which has probably been his main problem.
Did you play alongside him?
No, he's far older than I am, Gary.
Older. You were in the big school, weren't you? When he was in kindergarten. Canadians can't keep it in. At the circle, Dave Rierson and drop back. Now he's got a chance now to set up properly. Have a good look. Rink wide, good pass. The Canadians getting it forward now. Dave Archibald goes for it.
Now, this is the kind of game they're going to have to play. A lot of bump and grinding. This is it'll keep the Swedes off their game a bit.
It's the Canadian way, isn't it? Swedes are all finesse, and you Canadians, it's all bump and grind.
Well, that's not completely true, Gary.
I'm only trying to wind you up. The Swedes winding the Canadians up in the corner there. Stefan Waugh, goal scorer, nearly threw an elbow.
Well, this is the kind of game they're going to have to play. They've got to really work hard on the boards and in the corners.
Well, Kenneth Samuelson's got him tied up. Well, I take it back, he did throw an elbow. Nothing called. Team still at 5-a-side. First period. Scores aren't tied anymore. Sweden lead it 2-1. Johan Stromval with the go-ahead goal after Watt had equalised Eriksson's earlier effort for the home nation.
The crowd's gone awful quiet, Gary. They were really noisy their last game. Possibly they hate the Americans so much, I don't know, but they certainly they haven't been a big factor here. I thought, usually a home team's worth a couple of goals if they get behind their team.
Well, they don't have an organist here at the Globe Arena. So that quietens them down. This is Sweden trying to dig it out of their own zone. And Canada don't let them. Dave Archibald. Lidstrom's on him. But Archibald strong enough to come away from him once. Now the whistle's gone. Goal's back on its moorings, I think. Are we calling some penalties?
Looks like Lube might be.
Rundqvist is going to the box for Sweden. For interference. Oh, it's a roughing penalty. And Stefan Waugh, who's with him there. Yeah, they threw a shot at each other. Trading penalties. Rundqvist and Waugh. 2 minutes apiece for roughing.
Oh, it'll be interesting, Gary, in the 4-on-4, and we'll see what kind of team the Canadians can put out for this. This is the type of game the Europeans like, though. 4-on-4, 3-on-3. Oops.
Well, that's Krista Larkin from Sweden. Stick. Oof. Stick straight up from the face-off. Nothing intentional. Drawn blood, though. Had it been a play, it might have been a 5-minute penalty.
Well, I guess I'll have to be a little quicker on the draw next time, Gary.
Well, I think the blade went up and caught him right in the mouth. He might need some stitches from the first interval. Here come the Swedes. Tommy Johnson tries to walk it in, but the Canadians smother him out of it. Murray Craven plays it forward. Joe Sakic puts inside Lidstrom. Backhand shot, blocked by Lidstrom. Lindmark. Well, he got past Lidstrom as though he wasn't there then.
Well, he made a good effort. It was a good backhand shot he took. He's a good hockey player, and you can see why he scores a lot of goals. Well,
Brian Tott gets it in, and then he's forced back out, but the Canadians, thanks to the delay offside system, managed to keep the puck live. Although it's to Sweden's advantage at the moment as they bring it forward.
Surprised how much ice time Lube's getting, Gary. He's playing an awful lot this first period.
Well, the fans waking up a bit on this 4-on-4. And Aggie Gustafsson out there. That was Bergqvist's shot that went wide. And here come the Canadians again. Gord Hines, the defenseman, winds up for the big shot. Gustafsson drops it off to Naslund. Soft one at the corner. Stillman goes after it for the Swedes. Tott brings it forward for the Canadians. This is Boisvert with the long shot off the target. Gustafsson's back to Sweden. Plays it to the bench area where they're changing on the fly. Randy Smith brings it forward for Canada. Big Kel Samuelsson plays with Philly. And we're into the last minute of the first period. Gustafsson loses out, and the Canadians knocking it around. They trail it 2-1. They'd like a late goal here if they could get one. Gustafsson feeds Naslund. These veterans getting a lot of ice time for Sweden, Alex.
Yeah, they are playing a lot. I'm surprised. I thought they'd have the younger legs out here, but I guess we're underestimating their fitness.
We'll see third period. Canada plays it forward. Lidmark comes out. Quite a hard pass. Samuelsson. Carlson takes it in. Paliaklin goes to the crease area. Can't get any wood on the rebound. Dave Ladd is knocked down by Eriksson. Well, Tommy Johnson, a lot of NHL experience as well. The Swedes have got about as good a team as they've had for many a year.
Yeah, they've got a lot of pros back in, and obviously that makes a big difference for them. But I must think right now, it's a fairly scrappy game. It's not quite what I expected. I thought there'd be a lot more weaving and skating and passing going on. It seems a bit more bump and grind, and the Swedes don't seem to be playing their typical game.
Connie Evanson, 8 years the coach with the club side Farstads. They got to the finals in the domestic program this year. Well, that's a bit of a fluff by Lidmark, as he was put under pressure by Jason Lafreniere. And here come the Swedes. Pelle Eklund flattened from behind, nothing called. Ross ties Lidstrom up. And that gives them a chance again for Canada. Dave Latta goes behind to try and sort it out with Lafreniere. This is Latta. Carlson on him. Lidstrom can't get hold of Lafreniere. Canadians calling for a penalty, not given. Bross' shot is saved by Lindmark. This is Pelle Eklund. All the way back to point, long shot. Oh, blocked by 18. That's Brad Schlegel. You might wish he hadn't. Stillman in possession as the period draws to a close. Sweden 2-1 to the good. And good value for that lead?
Yeah, I think Sweden probably could have been ahead a little higher, really, but that's the way it goes. The goaltending came up good for Canada, and that's all that counts, really.
They outshot them 2-1 with goals from Eriksson and Stromvall. Wout with the answer. It's 2-1 at the end of the first. Sweden versus Canada, 2-1. Start of the second period. Gary Moran in the commentary booth with Alex Dampier. Rundqvist to take the face-off for the Swedes up against Joe Sakic, who plays his club hockey at Quebec. And it's the Swedes that come away with the draw and possession. They outshot the Canadians 2-1, 2-1, 14 shots against 7, first period. They got their just reward for that. This is Sakic. Getting help from Murray Craven, but then they lose their way a little bit. What would you have told the Canadians in the interval, Alex, if you were their coach?
Well, I think the real thing they got to start doing, Gary, is getting the puck deep and playing a little bit more physical. I think when they're doing that, they get better results and they control the game better. So a little more bump and grind and work on the Swedish defense a bit more.
Rundqvist fires it forward, but the Canadians pick it off the stick of Bergqvist. Although Lidstrom gets a chance now. He's tied up, though, and the Canadians get it forward.
They'll certainly need more of the play if they expect to win this game. They can't afford to give up 2-1 shots and expect to win the game.
Well, Gustafsson goes looking for the rebound, takes it behind. Puck goes round the corner, though, and comes out with the Canadians, although that's gone all the way now. Change to the linesman here. We saw that injury as we look at Coach King of Canada, Krista Larking of Sweden. We saw him take the stick in the face. He's been replaced now by Per Svensson, also of Sweden. Nasty injury.
That's one of the hazards, I guess, Gary, of having your face in the wrong place at the right time.
Well, I don't think he was doing too bad a job, actually. I didn't think it was called for. We'll have another face-off just to the left of Craig Billington's Canadian net. Bent Aki Gustafsson. Played in Washington. And it wasn't a very clean draw, but Canada come up with it. They like the wave here in the Globe Arena. It certainly wakes everybody up. Oh, we've got a penalty there. Jason Lafreniere. Oh, I think he's calling it boarding. Two minutes against Lafreniere, timed at 1:36.
Well, it really looked a bit of a cheap call, I think, Gary. Didn't really hit him from behind or wasn't really charging. I don't know really what he'd call it.
Well, as the fans get louder and louder, the nation they support most, the home nation, Sweden, on the power play. Gustafsson wins the draw for Sweden. And it goes right wing with the little guy with the big heart, Mats Naslund. Brian Tott gives him a few shots in the corner, but this is Naslund again. Sets up Ken Holt, the guy with the big cannon. Gets the shot away, but nothing on it this time. Randy Smith plays it off the boards. And the first power play of the night.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Sweden can do with this. Of course, more importantly, it'll be interesting to see what Canada can do to stop it. They can't afford to go down 2-goal deficits so early in the second period.
And of course, if the Canadians can kill it, that'll give them a little platform on which to build.
Well, they've got to get into the game soon, Gary. It's time is running down, and they can't afford to let this game slip away on them.
Here come the Canadians. Joe Sakic shuffles it forward, takes the hit, and then changes on the fly. Stillman for Sweden brings it from behind the net. Circles and has to go back there. No, he doesn't. Turns in the corner and gets it forward.
Well, the Canadians are standing him up pretty well, which is important. They can't just let him have the zone.
Well, Naslund gets a piece of it, takes a hit from Struby, but the Canadians have time to clear, and clear they do. The Swedish goalies like to show off their stick handling skills a bit, don't they?
Yeah, they're not very good at it, though. That's one of the problems. They don't seem to have some of the North American skills that the goalies have.
Eriksson in the corner. Heads up, has a look. Ken Holt gives him it back. Goes for that himself. Pelle Eklund's in the crease. Eriksson. Backhand out to Carlson. Tommy Samuelsson plays it round the back. And now Canada can clear.
They're doing a good job in this penalty killing, Gary. They've really taken away most of the options for the Swedes.
Samuelsson plays it across the rink. Now it's lofted forward, but that'll be icing.
Well, that was an important job done there. They put themselves in the game. Hopefully get back 5-on-5 and get back into this game.
Well, you can hear the bench encouraging each other. Quite rightly too. They have been doing a good job killing that penalty.
Bit surprised, Gary, with all the expertise on the Swedish team. They couldn't set something up. They really struggled with that power play.
Dave Archibald against Berglund at the face-off, following that icing. And Stefan Watt has got it behind the Swedish net, tries to come forward, can't get a shooting opportunity. Turns it back into the corner. Archibald turns it behind the net. Here's Randy Smith. Stefan Watt can't get onto it. Can Tommy Johnson clear? Well, it's out of the zone, but only as far as Randy Smith. He turns it back in. Now Berglund has the chance to clear. Sets up Lidstrom, and Lidstrom circles. Old head on young shoulders there from Lidstrom. Only 20 years old, but here come Canada. Well, the door was closed that time at the near post.
Canada's doing a good job right now, Gary, standing up in the zone and taking away a lot of the options for the Swedes, and I think that's what they've got to do. They can't let them freewheel.
And Schlegel's back out on defence for Canada after taking a puck in the eye area right towards the close of the first period. So it's good to see that injury wasn't as bad as it might have been. Here's a chance for Canada and a good stop by Lidmark. And Sweden comes straight back up the other end. This is Hakanlub. Rundqvist is in the crease. Hakanlub is level from behind. That looks like holding to me. He's still hanging on, and I still don't think we're getting a call on it from the Czechoslovakian referee. The Swedes looking a little bit panicky at the moment.
Well, I think the Canadians, like we were saying, doing a good job standing up in that neutral zone and not letting the Swedes freewheel. That's a big problem against some of these European nations. You let them skate and come at you with speed, and you're always going to be backing into your zone and running into problems.
That's their strength, isn't it? Their skating skills.
Well, they're good skaters, and they've got good team skills.
Stromval loses out right on the Canadian blue line. Here's Joe Sakic. Murray Craven stays on side just. This is Tot. Big shot off target, and then he turns it into the side netting, and Lindmark dives on to cover up, and Stillman protects him.
Well, the Canadians have had a few chances, and they've got to start putting them away. You only get so many a game. They had two real good chances, and they could have easily tied this game.
Joe Sakic with a little burst of speed. Couldn't get past Stillman, though. Turns round, plays it across to Tot. And his shot goes wide. And then Lidmark covers up, and Stillman protects him. Sweden still lead it by 2-1, but the Canadians very much back, trail it 2-1, but they're very much back into this one at the Globe Arena in Stockholm. This is Joe Sakic at the face-off, but he loses out this time, and Samuelsson gets the chance to clear for the Swedes, and he brings it down the right wing on his own, stick handling through. Here's the other Samuelsson, big Kel Samuelsson from Philly, but he's dispossessed. Puts his team under pressure. Murray Craven behind the Swedes' net. Looks for a chance and gets it into the crease area, and Joe Sakic finishes off. All stem from Kel Samuelsson losing possession in the corner.
Well, they put pressure on the Swedish defenseman, and he coughed it up. There's a good sign of a goal scorer. He knew where to be in front of that net. When it came to him, he found the back of the net with it.
Well, there's Kel Samuelsson. Murray Craven screamed in there, though, to take over and bring it forward. Brings it out front. Look at Sakic on his own, just in front of the crease. Not going to miss from there.
No, he's got good hands. He knew where to go. But I think that's where the Canadians are strong. They're strong on the boards, and they end up winning the puck in the corner, and then took a hit along the boards and got the goal out of it.
Well, a smile on Sakic's face, but you saw the expression on Kel Samuelsson's face as well. He knew he was at fault on that goal, and that is the Canadians right back into it. The 2-2 score, and the goal coming at 6:55. No more than they deserve.
No, I think they've had the majority of the play this period, and killing off that penalty was a key time in this game.
Well, we said perhaps they'll be able to build on it if they do kill it. They not only killed it, they killed it well.
Yeah, I think right now, if the Canadians keep pushing the way they are, they're going to find that net a bit more. They're good shooters, and I think the physical aspect of the game could come into it. Again, I think the Canadians could win that part of the game.
I think the Swedes are already paying the price for playing some of their better players for so much of the first period.
Well, I don't know. They had the chance to score earlier on in the game, and they didn't. And I think that sometimes is frustrating. They did a lot of work and didn't get the results, and now the Canadians have been allowed back in the game.
Well, the Swedes win that draw, and they bring it forward. This is Eriksson. It's another chance. Carlson plays it across to the far point, but the pass is off target. And the Swedes end up just trying to flop it into neutral ice. Randy Smith gets a chance, but the Swedes do sort it out. Carlson. Got past his men, winds up for the big shot, but they're caught offside. I think it was Berglund that had gone a little bit too far forward.
These Swedish defense are very mobile, Gary. They move up ice anytime they want. They're good skaters, good stick handlers.
Canadians can look to their last line of defence, though, Craig Billington, and say a big thank you for that early onslaught he kicked aside.
Well, he kept them in the game. I think if he'd been flat at all early in the game, the Canadians would have struggled to come back into it.
Brian Tott ties up Victorson. The help arrives in the shape of Jason Lafreniere, but the Swedes still bring it forward. Johansson loses out. And the play as Swede took a bit of a battering, got a bit mashed up. Lafreniere went wide. Ryerson turns with a snapshot. Good save from Lindmark. Sweden with a chance to clear, but don't. Brost shuffles it forward. Dave Latter. You can hear the Canadians looking for a change. Try and get some fresh legs out there as the pressure's maintained. Now Berglund gets the chance to clear for the Swedes. Ken Hope fires it down left wing. This is a bit of a shot from Stillman. Billington covers up. Now they will get a full line out there, and the Canadians putting all the pressure on at the moment, looking the better of the two teams.
Yeah, they are. They're skating harder. They're hitting a little bit more, and I think the key thing is they're working on the Swedish defense, and that could be the key. Wear them down, keep the puck low, and make them make the mistakes. Like the Big Samuelson topped the puck up and they got a goal. Probably the thing they got to keep doing.
Lundqvist taking the draw against Joe Sakic. Sakic wins it for Team Canada. Hines plays it across to Schlegel, and Schlegel brings it forward. His pass is picked off, but Murray Craven gets a piece of it, and Gord Hines gets the chance to dump it forward for Canada. Here is Big Carl Samuelsson. But they're even bumping him now, the Canadians. Their confidence is sky high. They fought their way back into this one. Joe Sakic looks up for the options and takes it in forward himself. Shuffles it forward to Murray Craven. He comes forward with it. All the way through and top shelf.
Well, you know, the Swedes are just letting the Canadians come out of the zone far too easily. Earlier in the game, they were pressuring them and forcing them. And right now, Canada's walking out, and I don't know, the Swedes have lost a bit of spark.
Well, it just clipped a skate there. Just a piece of Tommy Samuelson's stick as well, so they're not giving an assist to Joe Sakic. But I would have given him one. I think that's been unkind, because I think he sent Murray Craven forward there on that little run. Finished it well, though, at 9:47. And the Canadians get themselves in front for the first time.
Well, Craven did a good job. He took the pass down the boards and made a good move to get by the defenseman. Then when he had to score it, he top-shelved it. It was a tough play, and just shows he's a good pro, and he's got a good set of hands.
66 points with Philadelphia, Murray Craven. Dave Archibald chases it down. The icing whistle goes. In the old days when the keeper came out and played it, that would have meant the end of icing, wouldn't it?
Well, it still does in the NHL. There's no automatic icing, and I think some of the players are still trying to come to terms with this particular rule.
So we're halfway there, and Canada get their noses in front. 3-2 they lead it, thanks to that goal from number 14, Murray Craven.
The Swedes really do need something to happen here quickly, Gary. They're dropping behind, and their skating game has stopped. I don't know what's happened to it, but the Canadians are certainly all over them right now.
Well, the fans have gone quiet, haven't they? They look like it's a wet Sunday afternoon. Gustafsson, can he get something going, the veteran? He wins the draw. It's with Tommy Johnson. His long shot is blocked. That might sting in the morning, but Stefan Watt shrugs it off for now. I've seen Canada bring it forward. Well, it's off the boards. No whistle this time. It's the Canadians that are following the Czechs through. Their tails are up.
Well, if anything's going to throw the Swedes off their game, that'll do it. Some of the Czechs followed through and a couple of big hits. Alan Eagleson Sitting in the crowd there, Gary, ready to scoop a few players if possible.
This is Ryerson. Schlegel. Well, it may not be pretty, but it's effective from Canada at the moment.
Well, they're sticking to a system, and it's working very well right now. They're not committing too many men forechecking. They're sending one guy in and a late trailer. If the hit's made, the second man's going in to help. You can't afford to get too many men caught against Sweden. They'll get you on the quick break.
Well, Tots policing the crease area as Ryerson was drawn out of position. Ken Holt turns it through the crease area. It deflects off Billington. It goes deep, deep, deep. Anders Carlson helping out at the back for the Swedes. Get it in. Hackenlub's gone quiet.
Well, he's been hit a few times. You know, he's not a big guy, and he's not that young, so I'm sure it takes its toll on him.
He's been clobbered a few times.
The Canadians really are playing defensively very well. They're holding their positions and not running around, not chasing men. They've got a position to hold, and they hold it.
Well, Eriksson went down in a slow, lazy dive, and referee Yuri Lipa from Czechoslovakia said, "No, mate, you can't have one there." And there's a goal. What a cracker. Joe Sakic. Murray Craven fed it to him, 12-13 gone. And they stretched it to 2-4 as the fans were calling for a penalty at one end against Eriksson. Came straight down, and the deflection, the tip-in by Joe Sakic in his second of the period.
Well, you talk about a guy who can put a puck in the net.
All on his own again. Joe Sakic, the scorer, Murray Craven with the feed, and Serge Boisvert also drawing an assist. 2-4, 12-13 gone in the second period.
Well, now the Swedes by themselves 2 goals down. Gary, we'll see what kind of get up and go they've got here. They've really got a lot of work to do right now.
Well, Canada just look to be getting better and better. And the home fans don't like it. Particularly upset with the Czech referee at the moment.
Well, I think some of the hitting goes against the grain with the Swedes.
Look at all the bodies diving on the ice to block shots now for Canada. Play will come right back down their end. But certainly this is the bench that needs to sort themselves out. Victorson with the draw. Nice save by Billington. Bit of juggling. And then he covers up.
He hasn't had a lot to do lately, so it's particularly tough for him. He's had a lot of work in the first part of the game, and now he's been sitting around. All of a sudden he has to come up with a big save.
Well, it was off the blocker and it went high. He wasn't sure where it was going to come down, but in the end, it came down in the big glove.
Well, the fans are awake, Gary.
Well, I think the Canadians were just poaching in there a little bit to get a few extra seconds rest. And the fans reacted to it. Here comes Randy Smith for Canada. Stefan Watt comes up with the puck, but can only feed the Swedish defence. Victorson in the corner, being well policed by Tot. And he roughs him up a little bit as well. No penalties on the play. Pained expression from Victorson, though.
Well, Sweden's a big team. I'm surprised they haven't been bumping and grinding a bit more. It's not really their nature, I suppose, but they got a lot of guys that play in the NHL, and they should have learned to play that way by now.
Well, the fans trying to get them going. I think they appreciate that a bigger spread than 2 goals, which is what we've got with the 2-4 scoreline, might be too big a mountain to climb. Also appreciate the Canadians. There are a few key players missing. Whereas the Swedes, well, I suppose they are a couple of players missing as well. They're at full strength as far as availability perhaps is concerned. but Matt Sundin and Peter Anderson not out on the roster on this one. They suffered injuries in the game against the Americans.
Well, Sundin's a key player for the Swedes.
And a chance for the Canadians, and Ken Holt just stuck the big stick in time and stopped that one rolling forward. Hakanloob leaves it to Ken Holt, whose shot's off target. But the Swedes really need the likes of Samuelsson and Ken Holt, the big guys, to follow the Czechs through now and get some momentum going.
Yeah, I think they're just they're lacking a little pace right now, Gary. They've got the skating skills. They've got to start using them, and they're big. They've got to start hitting a little bit more. But like I say, I don't think that's not really their game.
Joe Sakic falls over, can't make the play off his knees. Samuelsson feeds Gustafsson. He takes it in. Nice drop pass. Collects, but his shot is blocked by Billington.
Great play.
And then he smothers.
That just shows the type of play that they can produce when they want to. That's great passing, great puck handling.
Well, if they're not going to follow their Czechs through, which would be one way back into it, a few moves like this could be another way. Sweet as you like all the way, and Billington has to be at his best.
Yeah, they had a couple options here, Gary, and unfortunately they just didn't find the back of the net.
Well, the fans are geeing them on to get back into it. It's a 2-goal spread, and they've got a bit of a mountain to climb. For more than halfway there, the Canadians more than happy with the way things have been going with their small squad, and the experienced Swedes struggling to get back into this one, but we've just seen some tricky play from them, and here they are on the attack again. Can't quite come round the back, Hakanloob this time. Stromval digging deep behind the Canadians' net. Struggling to set things up though. The Canadians doing well, back checking well. The forwards have come back to help the defence. And we get a whistle. Big Kjell Samuelsson having to get stuck in there for the Swedes.
Notice the Canadians are really holding their zone, Gary. They're not really running around much, and the big thing right now is they're trying to control the front of the net area. They're always making sure they've got a man high in the slot and somebody down low in front of the goaltender.
Wavert in the thick of the action, goes for a well-earned rest. And the crowd getting into it. Ford Hines blowing a little bit on the end of the bench, but they've been getting a lot of ice time, these two defensive lines of the Canadians. And you can't argue with the scoreline. 4-2, the visitors lead. Gustafsson with the draw against Dave Archibald. Canada come up with it. This is Waugh off the boards. Samuelsson hammers it back in, but Rierson plays it round the boards for Canada. Randy Smith, though, loses out. Mats Naslund comes up with it. Gustafsson, one hand on the stick, gets enough on it to get it back to Naslund. And the Swedes come out of it. I was going to say with possession. In the end, they lost it. Samuelsson hammers it back in.
This is a strong part of the Swedish game, Gary. They get the puck low and work the Canadian defense, and if they're going to get back into it, that's what will do it for them.
Little bit of physical play from the Swedes in front of the net there. This is Naslund trying to work his way in. Can't get onto it. Defense did well, played the man. Canada struggling to clear their zone just for a spell at the moment, but the Swedes struggling to string the passes together.
Right now the Canadians are standing up on that blue line, trying to make the Swedes dump it in and hope they can beat them in the corners and be stronger on the boards. And it's a bit sloppy right now, but the Swedes are definitely in trouble. They're down 2 goals, and they've got to create something here shortly.
Well, it's a team penalty for too many men on the ice. Had to use all the fingers on one hand and one on the other to add up the number of skaters. 6 men on the ice. So it's a 2-minute penalty, and Mats Naslund serving it. I think I would have suggested someone else go to the box. 16:09, the time on the penalty.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the Canadians do with their power play. They've got some good players there, and they've got a lot of room in the end zone to work the puck around, so we'll see what happens here.
Well, Murray Craven hovering around the crease. Now he goes behind the net but doesn't get the puck. Dave Latta plays it deep now. Craven goes for it with Tommy Johnson looking after him. Johnson steals his stick.
The Swedes are really forcing the play. They're playing like they're five-a-side and instead of being short-handed.
Doing well now. Is the referee calling another penalty? We've got a Canadian down on the ice. Nothing on the play now. Tot for Canada uses Ryerson. He gets it into neutral ice. Lafreniere hovering, he goes deep. Dave Archibald now looking for a pass from Lafreniere, gets one. Todd Grost. Archibald in the front. Lafreniere feeds Tot, the big defenseman. Gets it back. Lafreniere behind, comes round the front. He's knocked down.
The Swedes are doing a good job, Gary. They're forcing the play and making it difficult for Canada to set up this power play.
Ken Kenholt is on a delayed call. And he's going for slashing, and the fans don't like that one. 17:41 gone. And the Canadians going to a 5-on-3 power play. Are Sweden just trying to work out what it's like to kill a 3-on-5 power play?
Well, I think they're going to...
It's a bad move, isn't it?
Well, especially when they're down 2 goals. It's a bad penalty right now, but then I don't know.
Oh, Lafreniere was tripped up by Lindmark, and Kenholt followed through. I don't think you can argue with that.
Well, if I was a coach, I would, but I suppose you see it back in the replay, it's quite clear.
So, 5 skaters against 3. Rundqvist and Tommy Johnson will try to marshal the Swedish penalty kill. Not going to be easy, though. The Canadians have sent out Murray Craven. Serge Boisvert and Joe Sakic.
Well, the Swedes have got a tough job here. They really got to kill this off, Gary. They're down 2 goals. They can't afford to go down another one, or they've really got an uphill climb.
Well, they picked that pass from Randy Smith off. Here's Joe Sakic. Backhand pass goes behind his teammates. Boisvert has to circle to collect. Drops it off to 18 Schlegel. He dumps it in. Lindmark plays it back into the corner. Mats Naslund out there making up the trio for the Swedes, and there's a goal. Power play goal. 5-on-4. They've got 1 man back. Naslund, who was serving the team penalty, but Sakic, the scorer, assisted Boisvert. Power play goal at 18:27. So we go back to 5-on-5, because that will kill the slashing call against Ken Kenholt. Just walked it in, really.
Well, 5-on-3, there weren't many options for the Swedes. They done just such a good job in killing off the penalty, and actually the Canadians, I think, were lucky to get the bounce there on the boards.
Well, Sakic takes it well. Chooses to go backhand for the hat-trick. And steers it in. Naslund back with the play, but only just. After coming out of the box. So we're back even strength. But it's a 3-goal spread. The Swedes looking for something straight away, and they get it from Gustafsson. Bent Aki Gustafsson. Stromvall feeds him. And he buried it. It's not a 3-goal spread for long.
No, that was a good goal, Gary. Worked well. Guy in the right position, 2 men down deep, working hard for the puck, and put it out first time.
Well, they like to get these first-time shots away when they can. Stromvall behind, feeds the front. Bent Aki Gustafsson smoked it.
The defenseman got in the way of the goaltender here, too. Made it a little bit tough for him.
Well, Ryerson did a bit of a screening job there on Billington. And the fans celebrate. Gustafsson, the scorer, 3-5 the running total. 18:46 gone, second period.
Well, they're still in it anyway, Gary, and actually I think they came off easy with the after the 5-3.
Here's Struby, though, with a chance to stretch it again, and he does. Todd Struby assisted Latta and Wah at 19:04. So they got it back to 2 goals for literally 18 seconds.
All of a sudden, the floodgates have opened, Gary. Nothing for a long time, and now we get 3 goals in a short span.
Well, Struby does well here. Not on a recognised line at the moment. Goes out there when he can to fill in, awaiting other players joining this Canadian squad. And he came in on the one-on-one, went top shelf. Thank you very much. We'll have a 3-goal spread. 6-3, Canada lead it. And we're in the last minute of the second period. Billington covers up. And the Swedes thought they'd fought their way straight back into it. And their hearts must have been lifted by that goal from Gustafsson. And then it must be very difficult to take a goal against again straight away.
It is, yeah. You build yourself up, and you come back into the game, and all of a sudden, quick break, they score, and, well, the wheels are going to fall off the wagon here soon, I think, Gary, if they don't put something together quickly.
Well, Bergqvist tries to get something going. Tott's got hold of his man, Bergqvist, and hanging on to him. Bergqvist with a little dive. Has he drawn the penalty? Well, I think he must have by now. Canadians haven't played it, now they play it. Brian Tott gets 2 minutes for holding. A wry smile. I think he knew he was taking that one.
Well, I think he deserved it after the 3rd time he grabbed him. The first 2 he might have got away with it, but he wrestled him down for the 3rd time, that was it.
Well, Bergqvist made a meal of it the first 2 times, didn't he? Then he had no option 3rd time, so we had to get the 2-minute penalty. So the Swedes will end the period on the power play and a chance to reduce the arrears. And it'll go into the start of the 3rd period as well if nothing happens for the last 22 seconds of this session.
Well, I can honestly say the Swede didn't take a dive anyway. He was
He went down.
honestly pulled down.
Yeah. Good honest penalty from a defenseman in the corner. 19:38 gone, so the Swedes go on to the power play to end the second session. They trail it by 3-6. Lidstrom with the long shot. Billington blocks, and then it's cleared.
Well, the Canadians will have to be careful, Gary. They don't need to give up a goal right now and just go in with a 2-goal lead. They'd like to keep this 3-goal margin if they can.
Tommy Johnson tries to feed Rundqvist. We get a shot from Bergqvist. Billington saves. And there's the hooter for the end of the second period. 6-3, Canada lead it. A 5-1 middle period. So they'll be pleased with that. The Swedes had outshot them first period. And in fact, they outshot them again second period, 12-9. The Canadians got the 5 important goals. So it's 6-3 with Canada in front, although the Swedes have a power play. The Globe Arena in Stockholm. Sweden 3, Canada 6. Gary Moran and Alex Dampier in the commentary booth. And this will be the 3rd period. So the Swedes with a mountain to climb.
Well, right now they've got a power play, Gary. That's important to start the period off. And if they can get back into it, then, you know, there's a chance that they can make things happen. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be a long, hard battle. But a quick goal now will really be helpful.
Brian Tott off for holding. Scored with 22 seconds to go at the end of the second period, so that's held over. And the Swedes have, as you say, a power play chance. And if they can get something on this, it could mean business. Hackenlund plays it deep to Bergqvist.
You see 2 different styles here, Gary. The Canadians tend to box up and try to keep a zone. The Swedes really chased on the penalty killing.
Well, Lidstrom managed to keep it in. This is Lube. Plays it behind to Rundqvist. Back to Lube, and it's there. Well, he wanted a power play goal. 34 seconds gone on the period. Tott off for holding. Lube the scorer. Johnson and Rundqvist the playmakers. 4-6.
That was a well-worked goal. It worked around real well.
And can they build on it? Rundqvist behind. Tommy Johnson across. And bang, back of the net from that man Hakan Lube.
That was a pretty well set play. Lube initiated the play and it came back to him and he scored it.
Well, I wonder if they've been talking about that one in the dressing room. Hey boys, this is how we'll do it.
Well, it looks like a set play, and I'm sure they've worked on it quite a bit.
4-6 then, back to a 2-goal spread. Next goal could be the key.
Yeah, the Swedes get back into it here, Gary. The crowd could really play a big role, and the Canadians could really use that 3-goal cushion. It's tough in the in a home rink like this. They got to get one away and spread it out again.
Connie Evanson telling his troops, that's it, we got the power play, let's try and get one even strength, and then we'll have a real hockey game on our hands. The Swedes dump it in. Hines plays it around, which Schlegel loses out. Ken Holt tries to blast it, just managed to crank it forward to some extent. Stillman plays it around the boards. Schlegel has a chance to clear. Randy Smith helps out. Plays it backwards along the boards. Tries to tie 2 men up but can't. Naslund finds Stillman. Stillman with a shot and then a deflection. And it's home.
Well, the Swedes did a lot of forechecking, Gary. They put the pressure on the Canadians right away, and we talked about it earlier. You put the pressure on and things happen.
Mats Naslund with the final touch. I'm not sure it was quite exactly how he intended it to go in, but it doesn't matter how they go in. Stillman with the blast from point when he gets the puck from Naslund. He gets a piece of it, and Billington just lost it.
Gustafson did the big job in the corner. He went and pinned the man and then broke to the net.
And Naslund gets the tip at 1:15 of the third period. So we got a hockey game on our hands now. 5-6 the score.
Yeah, this is exactly what Dave King didn't want, I'm sure.
Todd Brost with a long shot into the glove of Lindmark. And he goes round the back and he plays it in off Lindmark. All that we were saying wiped out at a stroke. Todd Brost, his own shot. The goalie got it, Lindmark. And Todd Brost picks it up behind the net. Into the glove. Loses it a little bit. Rolls out the back under the armpit. And that's Brost's stick. And actually, I think it was off Kel Samuelsson as much as the goalkeeper.
Samuelsson's had a bit of a nightmare at times here tonight. He's been directly involved in 3 goals against, so he won't be pleased with his performance today.
Well, of course, you credit the goal to the last attacking play to touch it. Brost deserved that one. Smart thinking to play the shot off the keeper or the defenseman, as it was. Kel Samuelsson was the last to touch it. But Brost gets the goal. No assist, of course. 1:32 gone. 5-7 the score, and the 2-goal spread back again.
I think you're giving him too much credit, Gary. I don't really think he tried to play that one off anybody.
Well, I think he did. We'll agree to differ. They've got one thing's for sure, there's a 2-goal spread now. And he's not very happy about it.
Well, Sweden's done enough to be back in this game, and Canada really got fortunate. That's the type of goal that really breaks the team's back. Work hard, and all of a sudden you lose a cheap goal.
Well, they've shown that they've got the character to get back into this one already, once or twice, so can they do it for a third time? Archibald gets it forward, though, for Canada, although they're robbed, and then they steal it back. Long shot from Lafreniere. Lindmark makes no mistake this time and covers up. Tommy Johnson and Charlie Berglund go to help him.
When you're getting the bounces, everything goes for you. Every time a puck hits a skate or hits a stick, it always manages to find its way to the net. But when things aren't going for you, it's always trouble.
You have to earn your luck, though, don't you?
Yeah, this goaltender here has much tonight, really. He's been unfortunate on a few of the bounces.
He's not as entertaining as their other goalkeeper, Rolf Riddervold. Rolf keeps you amused for hours, doesn't he?
He's never in the net.
As long as he's not playing for one of your teams. Stillman for Sweden brings it forward over his own blue line. Rundqvist ahead, but he chooses to lob it in. Billington covers up, takes no chances.
Well, the pace has died off just a little bit, Gary. I think the Swedes have start sitting back just a little bit now. You feel as if maybe the last cheap goal has really hurt them.
Well, Billington in his New Jersey Devils protective headgear. Hakanloob drops it off to Stillman. This time his shot's off target, and there was very little steam on it anyway. And Team Canada brings it forward. Boisvert tied up by Bergquist. Oh, this is a giveaway. Ryerson, the defenseman, goes wide. Taken out mid-air by Murray Craven. The Swedes would be offside if they played it, so they leave it. Clear the zone. And Ryerson plays it rink wide. To Tot. And the whistle's gone for icing, even though the Canadian bench cried out no icing. And there's Hakanloob and Rundqvist, key players, and coach Connie Evanson.
Well, they're still in it, Gary. I mean, they just need another goal again, and they're right back in it. But they certainly struggled a little bit just to keep in this game.
Kjell Samuelsson. A 2-goal spread, and 2 mistakes from Samuelsson led to goals. I don't want to point the finger at one individual.
Well, they rely a lot on Samuelsson. He's an experienced player, and he's played quite a few years in the NHL. He's made a few mistakes I don't think he would have really been expected to make. But there's a guy who's put in a lot of time in the NHL this season. Long, hard year for him.
Well, he can dominate a game, can't he?
Well, he's a big, strong guy. I mean, he's played pro for long enough. He's got to know the game.
He's also been, well, I suppose cleaning up his act is the wrong word, but he's been cutting down the penalty minutes over there, and then when he comes back to the Swedish team, he's expected to be like the tough guy, isn't he, perhaps?
Well, that's not really his role anyway. He's big and strong, but he's not really all that aggressive.
Anders Carlson playing this game on defence, brings it forward from deep. And eventually, the shot comes in. Billington has to drop smartly down.
Well, both teams are still getting chances, so it's still fairly wide open, Gary. I think Canada's going to have to tighten up just a little bit. They can't afford to let Sweden back in again. They do it one more time, and they may not recover next time.
Well, they're also the team short on bodies, so they'd want to hang on to whatever lead they've got for as long as they can, because their legs might be the ones that give up. Billington covers up there. Brost in the corner. Shuffles it forward. Sakic back to Brost. Lidstrom does a job on him. Good player, Nicholas Lidstrom, the youngster.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good young players. They've got a pretty good blend of older and younger players in the Swedish team.
Good save by Billington, who's kept his concentration well. Frenier tries to get it forward to Dave Latter, but can't. And the Swedes bring it forward. Eriksson, though, smothered out of it. And Team Canada comes forward again. Joe Sakic goes to the net. The rebound comes his way, but not far enough. Canada bring it forward. Victorson takes it in to his own zone, and Stillman gets the pressure off and drops it off.
That last shot, Gary, looked like it might have hurt the goalie. That last hit looked like it might have hurt a Swede.
Johansson was the one who took it. He got straight up, though. Berglund. Long shot, no problem for Billington. But that clearance could cause a problem. Ken Holt shuffles it forward. Victorson. Canada seem to be beefing it up a little bit, and that might be just what they need to hang on to this 2-goal spread.
Yeah, they can't afford to back off their game plan one little bit, Gary. They've got to keep putting the body in and keep working hard in the corners along the boards.
Well, the Swedish bench still talking to each other. They know if they keep working, they can get right back into it. They've done it already in this game, but they trail it by 7-5. And they're running out of time. And as you've already said, Alex, a massive crowd here today, and they haven't really got into the game.
No, I don't know if they just expect Sweden to go out there and win, but I mean, their input would always mean a couple of goals. They just get the players hyped up, and it makes such a big difference when you get your home crowd behind you.
A long clearance from Ryerson leads to an offside against Rundqvist. There's Kjell Samuelsson. Game seems to have centered around the big guy.
Well, he puts a lot of ice time in. And he hasn't had any penalties, like you said. He's kept out of the penalty box in this tournament. And usually the Canadians, uncharacteristic completely of them, they're in the penalty box quite a bit, and they've kept quite quiet.
Well, I think they know, in view of the shortage of bodies now, as we move through the third period, that they don't need to be killing penalties as well and putting extra strain on their tired limbs. At least that's the way I'm sure Coach Dave King looks at it.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. The Canadian style was always a lot of hitting, and I think they're hitting a little bit, but they're calming down just a little bit, not retaliating to some of the things of what they used to. I mean, they used to play in Europe, and every time they got touched, they'd retaliate, and the next thing you know, they had a penalty.
Rundqvist walks it into the Swedes. Big shot coming in from Bergqvist. Well, Lidstrom lofts that one in, and Todd deals with it quite comfortably. Todd Struby goes deep, but can't come up with it. Lafreniere can't reach it. Struby gets a bit of a stick on Tommy Johnson, but doesn't stop him getting it round the boards. And the Swedes shuffle it forward. Here's a chance for Stromvall. Billington covers up. That was a big save. That could be a game-winning save from Billington on Stromvall.
Yeah, that would have brought it back to the one goal, and I could have had Sweden right back in the game.
Stromvall jumps on his opportunity, tries to deke the goalie. Billington spreads it and blocks it. So it's not a one-goal spread, it's still a two-goal spread, with Canada leading Sweden 7-5. Third period, Sweden 5, Canada 7, a two-goal spread. Tired Canadian legs trying to hang on to that lead. Gary Moran, and with me Alex Dampier in the commentary booth. They've done well, Canada.
Well, you know, the way they started off, Gary, it was slow and scrappy, and they've seemed to come into it later in the game. They've created some good chances, and I think on the most part they've taken the game to the Swedes.
They've got the likes of Courtnall, Conroyd and Fleury to join in this squad and beef it up a little bit, so they'll be pleased with proceedings so far. They've got to hang on for 5 minutes, though. But that save we saw just before the break from Billington could be the crucial game-winning save. Stromvall had the chance to get it back to a single-goal spread, and the bigger roster of the Swedes still trail it by 2 goals because of the save. Dave Ladder from Thunder Bay.
Well, it's going to be a tough 5 minutes, Gary. The Swedes are going to put everything into it now, and I think we'll just see what Canada can really do. They really have to get together on this, make sure they do their jobs in their defensive zone.
Well, we're waiting to hear the Most Valuable Player awards. I guess it's a toss-up for the Canadians between goalkeeper Billington, especially for that work he did in the opening minutes, and hat-trick scorer Joe Sakic.
Well, Sakic's had a good night. He's really come up with the goods when it's needed, and he's showed some real class around the net.
Tommy Johnson for Sweden brings it forward. Bides his time well, finds Lidstrom. His shot is deflected high and over the plexiglass. So we have another face-off.
Well, the Swedes have got to get the puck deep in the zone now, Gary. They have to put a lot of pressure on the Canadians and just keep dumping it in and forcing the play all the time. they want to win. They can't sit back.
Well, the fans are warming up a little bit. I've seen their team beat America recently in this arena, but at the moment they're heading for defeat by the Canadians. Stillman with the soft backhand, lobs it in, dumps it in. Rierson tries to fire it round the boards and it goes into the crowd. Souvenir time for someone out there. Scoreboard still reads Sweden 5, Canada 7. Well, he's got a smile on his face, even though his team's losing. Stillman on the backhand again, dumps it forward, off the plexiglass. Billington leaves it to his defence. Murray Craven helping out at the back. We expected Craven to double up on defensive shifts. Sakic can't get any further forward down that wing. This is Boisvert. I don't think anyone knows where that shot's ended up.
Well, the Swedes had possession for a while in the Canadian zone, and they had a couple of good shots on net, but they're really going to have to push hard, and the Canadians will have to be careful. The Swedes have got a lot of scoring punches, a lot of guys in that team that can find the back of the net.
Well, we did see 3 goals in the first 1 minute 32 seconds of this period. So, a 2-goal spread as we reach the closing minutes. Could be overhauled. Timeout called. What would you be telling them in this?
Well, I think for Canada right now, they've got to make sure they pick up their zones. They can't afford to get caught running around their end. I think as far as the Swedes are concerned, I'm sure they're going to be told to dump it in and make sure they put the pressure on the Canadian defense.
Well, we'd expect the Swedes to pull their netminder at some point. They're the ones trailing it by 2 goals. We've got a full house here. We would like to see a late revival. Lindmark's been told when to come to the bench. Rundqvist will try and win possession for the hosts.
Well, it's an important draw, Gary. The Swedes really need to get quick possession here and get off ice as quickly as possible.
The Archibald Smith and Watt line for Canada. Canada wins the draw though. Archibald behind the goal. Turns it in front. Samuelsson circles and comes out from behind the net. Lube and Rundqvist go in for the Swedes. But Gord Hines has stolen possession for the Canadians. And they lob it forward. Carl Samuelsson. Good save from Lindmark. Might be his last job of the game. Feels sure he'll be going to the bench very shortly. The Swedes try to claw back this 2-goal deficit. Big shot from Randy Smith from Saskatoon, 6 feet tall, good hands. He's signed by Minnesota as a free agent. Been playing in Kalamazoo and Salt Lake in the International League. Doing well there as well.
Samuelsson caught again with a bad turnover, Gary.
It's not been a good game for him. I think he'll try and forget this one. Stromval gets it forward. This is Naslund. Gustafsson goes for it. Canada don't clear the zone. There doesn't seem to be too much intensity from the Swedes just at the moment. Stromval had that chance with the one-on-one to sort something out for Sweden, but it didn't happen. Naslund backhands it forward. Rierson goes to collect and lobs it forward. Johnson circles deep in the Swedish end. They get it forward. Lindmark still looking for the signal from the bench to clear. Canada dump it forward into his crease area. He plays it, juggles it, and then kind of stick handles it. Anders Carlson gets it forward to Mats Naslund. Naslund feeds Carlson. Comes in with a chance and Billington shuts the door again. Another key save.
Yeah, he's made a lot of good saves tonight, Gary, and really at key times.
Akenlund keeps it in for Sweden. Carlson can't get onto it, but Lube keeps it in the zone. Circles around. Eriksson's in front. Another key save. Well, the word comes in that the most valuable player awards, as we move into the last 2 minutes, have gone to Joe Sakic. Top goal scorer for the Canadians as well. And Bent-Aki Gustafsson has picked up the award for the Swedes.
Well, I think both players have worked hard tonight, Gary. They've both done good jobs for their clubs.
Ken Holt lobs it forward. Berglund in the corner, but he falls over, and Canada get the chance to clear the zone. Johansson gets Victorson away. Billington doesn't cover up. They play it off the plexiglass. Samuelsson keeps it in. Berglund is robbed.
Well, Canada's really shut the door, Gary. They've tightened up in their defensive zone, and Sweden really aren't getting that many chances, although they had a couple of real good chances, but Canada's doing the job they're supposed to do. You can hear the Canadian coach yelling at them to keep their positions and make sure they shut down the points.
They've done what they needed to, didn't they?
Yeah, it's, I think the Swedish team have played well tonight, but I think the Canadians, in all fairness, have taken the game to them in the latter part of the, especially the second period. They really went hard at them.
Well, we've got another timeout now. Sweden will be telling Lindmark exactly when to come to the bench. They've got a face-off right at the other end now, so they might as well pull him, haven't they?
Well, you're 2 goals down, you may as well. It's they need a goal quick, and I think they got to get that 6th attacker out there as soon as possible.
Well, you might as well lose it by 3 as lose it by 2.
Well, in this kind of game, yeah, it doesn't really matter. If you're worried about your plus-minus, you'd probably be a little bit more careful, but...
Well, I'm sure the 14,000 people in here will be on the edges of their seats when Lindmark goes to the bench and Sweden try the extra skater ploy. This man Billington, though, has been a bit of a brick wall against them.
Yeah, he's
done Lindmark. He's on the bench. He's not gone out.
Yeah, Billington's done a real good job, Gary. He's certainly lived up to his reputation as a NHL goaltender.
Well, it's Rundqvist and 5 teammates up there for Sweden as they try to snatch something at the death from this one. Tommy Johnson can't get the shot away. Can Ken Holt? Ken Holt does. Billington denies him. Bergqvist plays it off the boards, but it's going deep, and Ken Holt has to chase back to collect and steer it away from the goal. 6 skaters for Sweden, no goalkeeper. Tommy Johnson, right wing, brings it forward. Bergqvist ahead of him. Takes it over the line himself, but then it's lost out, and Canada bat it off the boards again. Rundqvist has to go for it. Icing's called. So we'll have another face-off just to the side of Billington.
Well, the Swedes have had some chances, Gary. Right there, one of the defensemen had a really good shot, and one of the forwards walked in for a good quality shot. Fortunately, Canadian goaltender again shut the door.
Crowd's going quiet again. I think they're holding their breath. 2 goals down. They're used to seeing their team win. Good job from coach of Canada, Dave King. Another one from Saskatoon. It's a big draw, as you can hear the bench saying. They haven't quite won it, but they've hustled and bustled. And this is Boisvert. He misses the empty net. And Sweden live again, but they still trail it by 2. And now they're under pressure in their own zone without a keeper. And Joe Sakic turns it in from the narrowest of angles. Well, he deserved his Man of the Match award. 8-5. He scores at 19:49. 11 seconds to go. He'd already got the hat-trick. And he added a little bit of icing to the cake.
I'm sure the Swedes are saying, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? All of a sudden he shows up and gets 4 goals.
Well, he took that one well. It was a narrow angle, albeit an empty net goal. Most valuable player, Joe Sakic, living up to the title. And the Swedes do lose it by 3. A long shot to finish off target. There's the hooter. Final score, Canada 8, Sweden 5. No more than the visitors deserved.
I think they played well enough to win the game, Gary, and as the game went on, they got stronger and stronger. I'm quite impressed with the team, really, considering they got some more players to show up.
Shots on goal, the home nation well outshot the visitors, 44-26. And they got the goals from it as well to start with. Lube and Naslund, Frost and Sakic, the equalisers, though, for Canada. Meanwhile, Billington was pulling off some big stops in goal. As the players line up to shake hands and celebrate those most valuable player awards, we'll leave you from the Globe Arena. Hope you enjoyed it. From Alex Dampier and Gary Moran, goodbye for now. We'll leave you with Man of the Match, Joe Sakic.